Duli Yang Maha Mulia Paduka Sri Sultan Perak Darul Rizwan, Sultan Nazrin Muhyiddin Shah Ibni Almarhum Sultan Azlan Muhyiddin Shah Almarhullah. Ampun tuanku, beribu-ribu ampun, sembah patik mohon diampun. Patik memohon limpah perkenan Duli Yang Maha Mulia tuanku untuk patik menyembahkan ucapan dalam bahasa Inggeris. Terima kasih. Your Excellencies, esteemed KMF speakers, board members of Khazanah Nasional Berhad, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and welcome to the Khazanah Megatrends Forum 2025. Now, this year's Khazanah Megatrends Forum is rather special. It is with great pride and humility that I welcome you to the 20th installment of KMF. That's 20 years, 2 decades of shared insights, dialogue, and imagination. And what began in 2005 as an internal leadership retreat for our annual planning cycle, now where we invited speakers and created structured discussions, covering topics from global trends spanning markets, corporates, and societies. Now, it became obvious that insights gained and conversations were too valuable to be kept within our walls. Today, as you can see in this hall, KMF is a community. And it's humbling to see KMF as a place where business leaders, policymakers, academics, and thinkers all come together to exchange ideas in service of one goal, which is nation building. So let me warmly welcome all of you, whether you're here in person or joining us virtually. Let me also thank our KMF veterans who have supported us all these years, and the KMF of today would not be what it is without you, so thank you. Now, over the years, KMF has been a consistent avenue in which participants engaged in necessary discussions on a set of pertinent topics, paving paths from the probable to the possible. And that was the topic last year, and some of us may remember of us using the potato, for you to remember that. And a development bargain for the next episode in Malaysia's journey. And for some of you, not all of you, but some of you may remember the theme song, which is from Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg. I say some of you because some of you perhaps don't know who they are, but anyway. And of course, many other topics, complexities of development, artificial intelligence, our collective brain, and so on. So ladies and gentlemen, this year, we've chosen the theme, debugging uncertainty, and learning from 2 bugs, lessons from the grasshopper and the ant on living with risk. A few thoughts came to my mind about how to make you remember the grasshopper, but I think it's not good for the diet. So, and it's a bad idea. But imagine if we did that, right? Give you grasshopper as snacks. But anyway, now risk and uncertainty today is not a possibility. It is reality. It is imminent, both in our personal lives and in our professional lives, and also in our collective future. And uncertainty also conceals opportunities, unless we embrace it with discipline, imagination, and the collective will. Now, I'd also like to add, Nick asked me to remind, and I guess tell everyone, that our research team, who curates KMF, now when they chose this topic, it was chosen before Liberation Day, okay, and everything thereafter, right? Before that. And we typically plan our themes a year in advance. So I have to thank, and I have to, I guess, give recognition also to our research team for their foresight. But, yep. Oh, somebody. Though I don't think they could have imagined what happened after Liberation Day. But anyway. So why the ant and the grasshopper? It is the old Greek fable. During the warmth of summer, the grasshopper idles away its day in song, while the ant toils to store grain. When winter arrives and food runs scarce, the unprepared grasshopper realizes that it has made a terrible blunder, and with humility turns to the prudent ant for help. The tale captures a human truth. Throughout history, civilization has been a struggle between the present pleasure and future preparation, between the grasshopper and the ant. Now, history offers a powerful lesson. 5,000 to 12,000 years ago, after 200,000 years as hunter-gatherers, humans across the globe made the leap to agriculture. So why then? Why not earlier? In a recent paper in the Quarterly Journal of Economics, and this is by economic historian Andrea Matranga from the University of Toronto. Now, he documented how this rise of agriculture coincided with a spike in climatic volatility caused by the oscillations in the shape of the Earth's orbit. Now, this led to increased seasonality of food supply, with populations responding by storing non-perishable wild foods. Now, that is risk management at its most basic. From this act of managing risks, it was somewhat inevitable that some of these groups would invent agriculture. So the invention of agriculture eliminated the regular famines caused by climate seasonality, which smoothed out overall food consumption. It is from managing risk and preparing for the future, like the ant, that civilizations developed. Today, we face winters of our own making: pandemics, fragile supply chains, economic shocks, wars, climate change. Now, these risks no longer come one at a time. They arrive like overlapping storm fronts, colliding and amplifying one another, making the path ahead harder to chart. And yet, even in crisis, there is opportunity. The great lockdown during COVID showed us cleaner skies. It showed us proof that if we act with resolve, we can reduce carbon emissions and reclaim our environment. Technology, too, leapt forward, from vaccines to artificial intelligence. Now, advancements in AI have reached inflection points that are reshaping productivity, innovation, and even changing how we live our daily lives. Like the grasshopper, we too must celebrate the sun. For joy motivates and sustains us in the hardest of winters. Now, as a Beatles song, a Beatles once sang, I take it from another bug, okay? Here comes the sun, and I say, it's all right. So perhaps artificial intelligence is our new harvest. It dazzles like the grasshopper's song, bringing immediate productivity. But only the ant's foresight to ensure that these innovations occur in a sustainable manner through governance, regulatory safeguards, and ethics. Will it sustain us rather than undo us? So in the end, civilization has always been about balance. managing uncertainty and risk, keeping an eye on opportunities that may roll into something bigger. The ant teaches us foresight. The grasshopper reminds us of joy. And together, they remind us that progress is not just about surviving the winter, but ensuring that when the sun returns, we are ready to flourish. So, ladies and gentlemen, for an investment house like Khazanah, risk is not something external to be avoided. It is the core of what we do. We can mitigate it, yes, but we also embrace it. We seek risk-adjusted returns across the entire company life cycle, from startups to growth stage to mature companies. But unlike a purely commercial fund, we also carry a dual mandate. We must weigh not only financial returns, but also strategic national outcomes. Now, this makes Khazanah unique. We are government-owned, we invest in the private sector, and we are accountable to the Rakyat. We sit at the intersection of public and private sectors, ultimately serving the nation. Now, in practice, this means investing in areas where risk is unavoidable, but the long-term benefits to Malaysia are profound. Technology ecosystems, infrastructure, sectors that drive resilience and competitiveness. Now, some of these returns are not measured in financial terms alone, but also the impact it has in building capabilities, advancing sustainability, and strengthening national competitiveness. This belief that responsible risk-taking is essential to nation building is what drives initiatives such as Dana Impact, which aims to transform firms to enhance economic competitiveness and resilience while delivering socioeconomic impact. It also underpins Jelawang Capital, through which we crowd in private capital for higher risk, high return ventures through our funds of funds approach. So not unlike the ant and the grasshopper, we toil to manage risk to ensure sustainability of our returns while seizing opportunities to help to advance our nation. So to help us guide us to achieve our mandate sustainably, we've renewed our sustainability framework under the banner Securing the Future. Now, it's anchored on 3 pillars. First, a stable and strong economy through investments at home and abroad. Second, livability for all, putting people at the center of our sustainability agenda. And third, thriving communities by building capacity, nurturing ecosystems, and empowering people in a rapidly changing world. Now, these pillars guide how we invest, operate, and engage with stakeholders. And we also recognize that climate change cuts across every pillar. Our climate change management approach is therefore focused on strengthening portfolio resilience, protecting communities from climate-related risks, and advancing meaningful climate action. So at Khazanah, risk is not something we avoid, it is something we embrace responsibly, deliberately, and always with an eye on securing the future for Malaysians. So ladies and gentlemen, over the next 2 days, we will hear from a diverse set of voices, distinguished economists, business leaders, innovators, and thinkers from Malaysia and abroad. And they will help us unpack this theme, debugging uncertainty, from multiple vantage points: markets, firms, society, and people. So we'll kick off with our keynote address by Professor David Spiegelhalter, a renowned statistician and emeritus professor of statistics at the University of Cambridge. Now his work, The Art of Uncertainty, How to Navigate Chance, Ignorance, Risk, and Luck, is an extraordinary account on how to embrace the imminence of risk and uncertainty within our daily lives through rich personal anecdotes. Now, beyond special addresses, we have planned a number of engaging panel discussions and TED-style talk sessions, and I'd like to highlight my personal favorite, which is Malaysiana, where we celebrate stories of outstanding Malaysians pushing the global frontiers of knowledge, creativity, and conservation. And we also have a special session lined up on portfolio, notably on sustainable investment models designed like ants to adapt to dynamic markets. So I want to thank again all the speakers for gracing us with your time and insights and for being with us here in Kuala Lumpur. And I'm confident that our audience has much to learn from all of you. But KMF is not just about ideas, it's about community. And this is why we've curated experiences for you as part of our initiative in supporting local entrepreneurs. We've engaged in a range of local vendors offering from a cup of freshly brewed coffee to ice cream, and specifically curated for this event. Now, furthermore, you may also redeem a book authored by one of our speakers. Now, these small touches are there to remind us that KMF is as much about building connections as it is about sharing insights. Now, keeping in line with our sustainable goals, you'll also find recycling bins and line-yard collection boxes, which I strongly encourage that you use. And in partnering Water Waste, it's a social enterprise, we are also reducing food waste together. Now, these small steps, quite small steps, but together they send an important signal, a message that every effort counts. So like an ant colony, the success of this event lies in playing our collective duties. Now, of course, I'd like to mention that tonight, Monday night special event will also will be there highlighting a celebration of Malaysian arts, culture, heritage, offering a welcome counterbalance to the economic and business of the day. So in the past few years, we had dance performances, we've had comedy, a visual art show, and tonight, of course, I welcome all of you to join us tonight, is a Monday night of illusions. It's a magic show, right? So I'm sure you'll find that exciting. I heard that we're going to take one of us to be sawn in half or something like that. I'm not quite sure. We're still trying to figure out who. So my hope is that this year's forum reframes how we think about risk, not merely as something to fear, but something to understand, navigate, and embrace. By acknowledging it, measuring it, acting on it with discipline and imagination, we can move beyond fear. And when we cultivate the will to embrace risk with wisdom and courage. So I wish all of you a stimulating, engaging, and fruitful 20th Khazanah Megatrends Forum, and may our discussions sharpen our understanding, expand our imagination, and strengthen our collective resolve to advance Malaysia. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and thank you.
Thank you, Datuk Faisal, for delivering the welcome remarks.